Sydney Olvik. I'm going to turbo swap my Volvo 240. So I found the 740 here, and I don't have that much time until the junkyard closes, so we're just going to get the manifold and the turbo. Okay. Well, the inlet, the intake piping is missing, and then for the turbo, and then the intake for the cylinder head is missing as well. Manifold bolts right now, and as usual, the whole lug is coming out with the nut on it. There we go. Oh, it's still seized a little bit. Careful, there's okay. So this is the downpipe. In order to get the turbo free from the downpipe, you're probably gonna have to remove this to get access to these bolts. And the bolt is right there. Alright, so this turbo is oil cooled and water cooled. So I need to take these lines because they tap into your coolant hoses. So I'm gonna just replace the entire hose.
Which
and you
ones?
take them off. This one and the lower radiator hose. Okay, so this is the heat dryer for the Volvo 740. In order to access these downpipe flange bolts, you might have to remove these two for the bracket to the heat dryer. They're 2 Phillips head, and after you do that, since this is just a junkyard car, you can just bend that out of the way for easy access. And then also for this bracket, there's another one of these down there, size 13. And then now you can remove the bolts with the bracket removed. I think it's better to break the ratchet. Yeah, let's just use the open end. Okay, so for the last flange bolt, you'll have to go underneath. So lay out a nice placemat of adjacent floor mats from other vehicles. Okay, pipes off, sensor's in there. Take it if you need it. So the lower radiator hose on this one is sliced down here, so there's coolant leaking. So I'm just gonna remove it from the turbo and not take it with me. Before you remove your last manifold bolt, take the oil feed out, which is 2 bolts right here. Then also remove the 10mm bracket bolt right there. Ow. Make sure this spins good too, so it's nice and spinny. Okay, so underneath the drain pipe is still attached to the turbo, so but we're going to be removing that. We don't need it because you'll have to make your own with braided steel for the 240 adaption. It's everything upside down. So this is the oil drain. See, yours won't have this hole if you're naturally aspirated. So, but I'm gonna put my my drain into the oil pan instead, so you won't need this. And you can just pull that straight out of the block. I just took the whole manifold and just thrusted it upward and it came out. And reading the identification plate, it's a Garrett. So this is the bigger one. Okay, so this is the, fuck, I forgot its name. So you're gonna want this air recycler. It comes with hex heads. And so these vacuum lines on the turbo cars, they connect with the crankcase ventilation system over here, and that also taps in with your fuel pressure regulator. So you're gonna want both of these hoses, and you're gonna want to tee this off into the fuel pressure. So the air box on the turbo vehicles is on the exhaust side. So you're gonna want to take this MAF. I'm not gonna use this, so I can be cool with the cone filter. But these are different for the turbo cars, so make sure you take these. Those might not be salvageable. Looks kind of messed up. And I just stripped it. Got a screwdriver. Dusty right there. Got the snippies. Okay, so and you're gonna want to make sure you take this hose too. It goes to the idle air control valve. Okay, now you gotta get the ECU and the ignition computer. It's at the driver's side. I mean the passenger side, all up in here. Then in here. What was that? Ah, there it is. There is the ECU right there. Jetronic. Okay, so this kind of like pivots, so I just had to push this tab up really far, and then now it's pivoting. And I think there's, maybe that set screw does, I think that is the set screw at the bottom does do something. See that? Oh, wait, here, I'll take it. That tiny screw right there, maybe. It's not the screw, it's just a tab here. I think we actually broke it. We broke it, but anyway, you can just pry that out however you will. So after you take these two off, just put your hand back here and like smash it out, and it should pop right out. So boom, there you go, Jetronic baby. I don't know if the brackets are the same size, so I'm just gonna take it just in case. Yeah, remember this is like I said I couldn't remember. A reminder: you need to take this. It's the air recycler, so it doesn't mess up your MAF, gives you better performance. It's like the blow-off valve, but Volvo's version, and instead of going into the atmosphere, it goes back into your system. Okay, so we're trying to get the ignition computers. They're supposed to be here, but this panel is not coming off. So we're gonna try to remove this, see if that does anything. Okay, so the ignition computer is, says this is a 86, and then this is it right here. You're gonna want to remove this.
Tell them where you are under the steering column.
This is the driver's side under the steering column. Straight. Steering column, ignition computer. Okay, so this is the inventory check. I'm just gonna point out a couple things. Ignition ECU, telephone, vacuum hose, flame trap, thingamaboob, intake hoses, downpipe, turbo, circulating air thingamadoobs, MAF. Don't know if I said intercooler yet. And then this pairs with this. And this is for like the turbo gauge, the boost gauge. Yeah, baby.